Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new series here on the channel. This is Turnover Carbon, and we are doing a Colorado Rockies rebuild in Out of the Park Baseball 26. I'm not nervous at all. This will be fine. For those who are new to the channel, hello. I have two other series in the channel, both in Football Coach College Dynasty. One is a sort of coach career series that was done in early access, and the next was a launch journeyman series that is still ongoing. So if you like this video here and you want to check out some college football game management simulation, head over to those videos. But for our purposes, this series, we are going to, shall we say, attempt to bring the Colorado Rockies not even back to glory, but just back to relevancy in the football space. Currently, as I record, the Rockies are 7-34, which is on pace to be the worst record in MLB history. Thus, the bar is in the Earth's core, as they say. So for today's video, I will walk through the team as I have it set up. I've done all the pre-opening day housekeeping infrastructure. We are ready to rock. And then we will play opening day against the Tampa Bay Rays. First things first, though. Let's meet the team. And it is a grim picture. There is no denying that. In terms of our positional rankings, we only have two in the top 10, one of whom, Tiara Estrada, is out for over a month to start the season, and so we will not be getting his services. Also in the top 10, obviously, Ryan McMahon, one of the best defensive third basemen in baseball, and not a bad slouch offensively. And then we have a couple top 15 talents in Ezekiel Tavar at short and Bretton Doyle at center field. And that is where the good news effectively ends. We have four areas that are in the bottom two of the league. All of our pitching, Herman Marquez, Anthony Molina, and Seth Halverson, bringing up the rear in the ranks of the league. We also have first baseman Jose Abreu, which I will get to in a few moments when I go through the lineup. Last year and the year before that, obviously, the Rockies lost 100 games. My goal this season is very simple. Not be the worst team in MLB history. Anything else, I think we're okay. Looking at our top players, obviously center fielder Bretton Doyle is probably the lone shining, glistening bright star on this team. He is a phenomenal defensive center fielder. He had a breakout season last year for the Rockies. He's a speed demon. He's great. Now we just need to keep a hold of him. Behind him is obviously Ezekiel Tuvar, who currently at the moment in real life is injured. I believe will return in a couple weeks. In the game, however, they don't love him, it must be said. He's obviously defensively one of the best shortstops in the game. However, his contact avoid Ks are both really, really poor, hence the 200 strikeouts last year. He doesn't have a good eye, which is a recipe for complete and total disaster. However, we don't have a lot of talented infielders that are especially locked into long-term deals. And Ezekiel is locked in to a nice and shiny 8-year contract. 7 of those years still remain, which will knock out, obviously, his arbitration years also. And then bringing up the rear, obviously, our boy, good old Ryan, at third base. He has 3 years remaining on his contract. I foresee him just playing out his contract, being an above average third baseman for us. I doubt we'll really be in a position to extend him, but I think him and Ezekiel should be a nice little 1-2 combo in the infield. And then I will get to our top prospects later on in the video. Let's take a look at team chemistry. So overall, right now, things are happy. We haven't played a game yet. We haven't lost by 20 runs yet. So everything is going well. Jose Abreu is our El Capitan. Ryan Feltner is a leader. We have a couple spark plugs, Cal Farmer, Sean Bouchard. Ryan is a prankster. And Seth Romero is outspoken. Usually I would like one or two more in the captain leader area. But overall, not too bad. Most importantly, we don't have any disruptive or selfish players, which is really, really good. All right, let us take a look at the front office, pivot a little bit. So, in terms of payroll, the Rockies are 21st, which, when you say that, you're like, oh, at least they're spending some money. The problem is that in this game, no one comes to the ballpark. In real life, obviously, the Rockies, they shatter attendance records relative to where they are. But in the game, they projected attendance dropping by 16%, which means less revenue, and you see the end result from there. In the record history, the last time the Rockies had a record above 500 was 2018. Obviously, that was the year they took the Dodgers to the final game of the season, a game 163, and then since then, it has just been quite poor. We're looking to change that. Salaries paint a pretty interesting picture. We only have 2 players signed through the next 4 seasons, i.e. long term. Ezekiel Tavar and Chris Bryant, who I will discuss later. We have a lot of players in arbitration who are going to be starting arbitration next year, which is going to bump up the salaries a little bit. In terms of upcoming free agents, Herman Marquez, Austin Gomber, the aforementioned Jose Abreu, Scott Alexander, Spencer Turnbull, Jimmy Herget, Tyler Freeman, and Nick Martini. Most of these guys we're going to let walk. I am treating this like a full, punt on this season. Play the bad players that we need to play because I can't find it. I couldn't find any trade candidates for a lot of these guys, and we're just going to accept the fact that it's going to get worse before it gets better. We do have some upcoming team options. For example, Jacob Stallings has a team option, as does Kyle Farmer, Tyler Kinley, and Tiaro Estrada. Once again, Estrada will likely keep around for one more year. Everyone else will let walk. So this team is going to look much, much different after year 1. In terms of staff, I didn't fire as many people as I did because the Rockies actually didn't have a bad staff in terms of the personalities, to the point where overall the talent level for our teachers is average to good. No real personality issues, with the exception of our third base coach, who struggles with 4 other staff members, excuse me. And right now, the cohesion is good. But again, we have not lost by 20 points yet. Cannot stress that enough. Now that the boring housekeeping is out of the way, let's look at the lineup. So I didn't really try to mimic the current Rockies lineup because why would I? They're the worst team in baseball right now. But a lot of these are similar. Brenton Doyle's going to hit leadoff at center field. Ryan is going to be behind him. I have Sean Bouchard hitting third, which I went back and forth on. My argument simply comes down to I need power and I need a guy who consistently hit the baseball, and I don't have to worry about striking out. There's not many players on this lineup that I'm not worried about striking out. Only 5 of them have an avoid Ks of 50 or above. 2 of them are on the bench. So it's a bit shaky. Chris Bryant, I have hitting cleanup at fourth. Now, Let's get this out of the way. Did I try to trade Chris Bryant? Yes. Would anyone take him? No, not at all. Um, I think the benefit of keeping Chris Bryant is since I'm DHing him, I don't really need to worry about his defense. Though, to be fair, he's not a bad outfielder if I ever need to throw him in the outfield for some time. But, he's going to be an average, just slightly above average hitter. And if I can try to, give him a really good year, maybe I could find a more willing trade partner. But at the moment, none exist. Injuries with him obviously are a big concern. He has yet to appear in 100 games since 2019, and it's not great. He has 4 years left on his contract. He's making 27 million each one. We're kind of having to bite the bullet on that one. And then hitting fifth is Michael Toglia. Now, in real life, he's playing first base. I have him at right field because I signed Jose Abreu to play first base. I'll get to that in a moment. But Michael Toglia, I think, could be one of the cornerstones that we build upon in the outfield. If him and Brenton Doyle are both hitting, I'm having a really good time. Togli is one of our few big power guys, so he really needs to play as much as possible. He's got a little bit of speed, but he strikes out quite a bit, almost 150 strikeouts last season. That hurt the on-base percentage a bit. Other than that, though, I like his power. He's going to be in right field for me, where his position rating is poor, but his defensive ratings there are all above average. Not concerned about that. And then hitting sixth, I have signed Jose Abreu. Now, I have done this mainly for one reason: buy low, sell high. For the low price of about $2 million, I can get an above average hitting first baseman at Coors Field. If Jose doesn't get like 20 homers, the game's gone. But I am operating under the assumption that Jose will have a very good season, and then at the trade deadline, I can trade him for some prospects or a solid starting pitcher or something similar. He is not long for this team. He's also 38 years old. He may very well retire after this season, so there's no real point in extending him. But I have literally nothing to lose. And if Jose struggles mightily, I can always move Michael Toglia back to first base and play a different outfielder. Like that, I have a succession plan. We're pretty good. I am well aware of his struggles with the Astros, especially in 2024. But where better to rediscover your hitting prowess than in Colorado? Hitting seventh is Ezekiel Tavar. Now, I have Tavar hitting seventh. I originally I was going to put him higher just in my mind, but then I actually looked at a lot of his ratings, and the game really doesn't rate him as a good contact guy. Obviously, he has the power, which he showcased. He has the defensive acumen, but I don't know if he'll ever get to that top tier level in the game. Whereas in real life, I think he will. But he's a great defensive shortstop. He'll hold down that position, even if I only get, a 250 average, and 18 to 25 homers a season. I'm okay with that. At catcher, I am going with Hunter Goodman over Jacob Stallings. Objectively, I would say Stallings is the better catcher, certainly defensively. But one of the main priorities for me is figuring out which of these guys in their mid 20s is going to be someone for the long haul or someone I should trade after this year. I need to figure that out with Hunter Goodman. He has done okay this season IRL. The game is giving him your classic bad contact, high power, bad defense catcher. And overall, if I get that, I'm okay with it. I need as many sources of power as I can get, and I hope that Goodman can be one of them. And then bringing up the rear is Kyle Farmer at second base, signed over from the Twins. In a vacuum, signing both Kyle Farmer and Estrada in the same year to play the same position seems a bit odd, but Estrada's hurt, so here we are. And Farmer, listen, he's a really good defensive second baseman. He's solid contact. but he strikes out a little bit. His eye's not great. It's just he's my ninth hitter. When Estrada comes back, he's going to immediately take Farmer's spot. And then I have this kind of awkward situation where I'm paying a guy 2.5 million to just sit there and really do nothing. Bringing up the bench for our side, obviously Jacob Stallings is our backup catcher. Let's be frank, he deserves to be the starter based on just ratings alone, but I'm going to play Goodman here. As I said before, Stallings has a player opt out and then a team option. So either way, this is going to be his last year with us. And then my backup infielder is Adele Amador, who can back up both second and short very, very well. He's got a great eye, good avoid Ks. This is the ideal backup infielder, in my opinion, where you're really good defensively, you can play multiple positions, you're not going to strike out in pinch hitting situations. Perfect. He also has a little bit of speed, though he's really only shown that in the minors, but that could be something we potentially unlock. Though, while this team doesn't have a lot of great hitting acumen, we have many speed demons on the team. So that should help us out quite a bit. And then I have two backup outfielders. Kind of created the awkward situation there by having Michael Toglia in right field. Sam Hillard, I have at left field. He's here for speed. That's pretty much it. I need a speedy outfielder who I can trust to get on base once in a blue moon. He's here for speed, though, and I'm operating the assumption he's going to get either traded or sent down sometime because he's not going to start, and he's not going to like that he's not going to start. But realistically, I have to play other guys in the outfield. And then finally, Mickey Moniak, who was cut by the Angels and then picked up by the Rockies. He's fine. Like that's where I'm at. He's fine. He's got good speed. He's a better defensive outfielder than Hilliard, I would say. The bat is a big question. His eye is a 35, which means he's not going to walk. And his avoid K is so low, he's going to strike out a ton. I'm not going to play Mickey Moniak as much as Bud Black did in real life this year, but backup swing outfielder, I could do a lot worse. In terms of what this looks like for my bench guys, Toglia is going to play first base every 3 games to sub out Abreu. Moniak is going to play right field every 4th game to sub out Toglia from that spot. And then I think Amador is going to DH, let's call it once every 5th game, just to give Chris Bryant some rest. As a general note, just a philosophy thing, if Chris Bryant is struggling, I am not going to play him. He only has value to me as a DH if he's getting on base, if he's hitting home runs. If he's not doing either of those things, he simply will not play. And I get to play, Amador or Mickey Moniak at DH. So my pinch hitters, Amador, Toglia, and then Hillard to run. I have no changes for my lefty versus righty lineups. There's no one really who's like a lefty killer on this team, which is kind of why they're so bad. But that is all the same. So overall, pretty, I would say, definitely below average lineup. I think where we could excel is if a lot of our power guys like Goodman, like Toglia, if Jose Abreu brings back his old self, we could start hitting some bombs. Everywhere else, we're not that great. But if you thought this was bad, let's talk our pitching. So we have 5 starters. 3 of them are actual Rocky lads. First, Kyle Freeland. He's going to be my opening day starter. Is he a good pitcher? Probably not. I feel bad for Kyle Freeland. He's a guy that I had, in fantasy baseball a couple years. Really hoped he could turn it, but he got crushed last year, and his ratings took a big hit in game to sort of reflect that. He is also signed to 3 more years left in his 6-year contract. Um, this season, I am just hoping that I can get slightly average pitching from him. His control is still solid, which is good, but his stuff is terrible. So we're just hoping with him that he can kind of tread water and not make me break my screen. Second, we have Ryan Feltner, who is quite possibly the lone starter that I think will be on this team in like 2 years' time. Ryan Feltner has solid stuff, really good movement, solid control. However, again, he plays at Coors Field. He is the pitcher I'm most excited about. He is arbitration eligible. I am almost tempted, depending on how this season goes for him, to get him a multi-year contract extension to knock out that last year of ARB eligibility and just lock him into a deal. He has struggled for the past couple years, but 2024 was pretty good. We'll look to continue that trend. Third, Herman Marquez. There's not much to say about Herman, unfortunately. He hasn't really pitched in 3 years. He's had multiple injuries. As a result, his stuff is cratered. I'm surprised the game still has him at 50 stamina. Usually, when a player has suffered essentially back to back season ending injuries, they'll drop that quite a bit. But he's here as my third starter. He's in the last year of his multi year contract, getting paid $10 million. If he pitches well, then I can trade him and probably retain 50% of his salary to someone else. If he pitches poorly, then we're just going to have to accept the fact that it's going to be a long year with him. So I have no idea what to expect. He hasn't pitched in a few years. Anything could happen. And now I bring you some free agent signings. Firstly, Spencer Turnbull. At one point, I genuinely believed he was going to be the next great Tigers pitcher. That never materialized. He had some, shall we say, philosophical disagreements with Tigers GM Scott Harris, and they essentially released him. And then he signed with the Phillies and did pretty okay. I have no illusions about Spencer Turnbull. He is not the best pitcher in the world. You could even argue he's not a good starter anymore. But he has pretty good stuff, put up good numbers last year for the Phillies, and he's a rental. If he pitches well, I can trade him for somebody or maybe even re-sign him to a one-year extension. If he pitches poorly, we're not losing that much. He's only making $1.8 million this year. And then our last pitcher, Scott Randall. Now, this is a fun one. As you can see by looking at his stats down there, he has never pitched above AA. And even in AA, he pitched 1 start, 4 innings of work. That is it. End of sentence. He is in, I believe, the Pirates system IRL, and I am signing him on essentially a Hail Mary. He's got good control, good stuff. He has never had an opportunity to show it, though. The Pirates played him as a reliever, then they just never promoted him from high A, even though he had almost 150 innings there, which is wild to me. So I have no clue what to expect. But he is going to be our 5th starter, and that brings off our rotation. Let's get the obvious thing out of the way. No one has a stuff above 50, or even at 50. Not a soul. However, what we do have is above average movement and really, really good control, with exception of Turnbull. Against lefties, we're going to get crushed. Against righties, Freeland is going to get demolished. That's where we kind of stand. That's our rotation. 1 lefty, 4 righties. Let's talk bullpen. Bullpen, I would argue, is in an even worse situation. My closer, I have decided on Seth Halverson to be my closer. My argument being he is one of the Rockies' top prospects, though he's not eligible as a prospect anymore, technically. He has potentially like the best fastball possible. He'll work into his control. He's still developing that changeup. I think he is a guy that I can build to be an amazing closer. And he's technically a rookie, which means his arbitration is years away. So we could potentially have a very good closer on the cheap for like the entirety of this save. That's why he is the closing role. My two setup men are Scott Alexander, who, lefty, decent control, bad stuff. Hopefully that doesn't get him killed in cores, but he's not really one of the pitchers I'm worried about. Anthony Molina, who I think either he's my backup plan for closer if Halverson gets eviscerated. Molina didn't do great for the Rockies last year. However, he's got a little bit more time under his belt. He was 22 years old, for crying out loud. His stuff is still developing, so he might suck this year also. But my hope is another year down the line, he can be a pretty good reliever for us. Middle relief, Victor Vodnik, who I believe in real life was in the short role for the saves. He got 9 saves last year with the Rockies. He's not really in my plans for the closing role. I view him as just a lockdown middle reliever that I could put in the 7th inning, have complete confidence he'll get 3 outs, allow a hit for good measure, right off into the sunset. His stuff could max out in the 70s. Pretty good. And then Tyler Kinley, my next middle reliever, he has a very similar problem to the rest of my relievers. His stuff, great. His control, not really existent. He is one of the few relievers signed to a decently large contract. He is making $4 million this year. Then there's a team out before $5 million. I doubt Kinley will have much trade value. His overall is only a 45, so this year is me kind of seeing, okay, if he can pitch really well, maybe I pick up the option. I doubt I will, but never know. And then our long relievers. This is where things continue to get a bit wacky. I have signed Ronnie Garcia, who, again, at one point on the Tigers, I thought he was going to be like a really good long reliever for us. That never panned out. And so he has been out of baseball. He did not play in 2024. And so I am bringing him back immediately into the major leagues. We're not even messing around with AAA, though you should see the state of my AAA team. Ronnie Garcia, good stuff, good control, decent looking long reliever. He's got really good stamina also. So I know that he can be a guy I can count on to get me 2 1/3, 3 innings if the starter ever gets destroyed early, which I'm sure that will never happen. But I have high hopes for Garcia. He's also still arbitration eligible because the Tigers kept cut and ran from him so quickly. So if he's good, we could have him for the cheap next season. Seth Romero, also a minor league signing. I kind of broke my rule for him because usually I avoid players that have all low personality traits. However, I need good relievers, and on paper, Romero is a pretty good reliever. He's got good stuff. Control needs some work, but he's got a really good slider. Again, he hasn't really played since 2022, and I'm throwing him in the fire immediately. I'm trying to avoid being the worst team in baseball history. So, I like Romero a lot. He is also a lefty, and that is something I do not have a lot of in my pitching staff. I got Freeland at the rotation, Alexander's the setup man, and Romero's long relief. That is it. So only 3 lefties in the pitching staff, which I'm sure won't come back to bite me at all. And then finally, Antonio Senzatella, who I really liked once upon a time. Similarly, I added him and Kyle Freeland at one point on my fantasy team at the same time. Senzatella, similar to Marquez, he hasn't pitched in 3 years. His ratings have crumbled to almost dust, but he has average movement and above average control. That could be worth something. I was never going to put him back in the starting rotation. So for now, he's a long relief guy. He also has essentially 2 years left on this contract, 12 million this year, 12 million after the next. There's no way I don't take that team option and let him walk. So we'll see. I mean, Senzatella, he's in the long relief. I don't expect him to go that long. Even with his 55 stamina, he hasn't pitched in 3 years. So, you know. The bullpen, I think, is shaky. There is zero way around it. If guys like Seth Halverson and Anthony Molina and Victor Vodnik don't perform well, we are doomed because then we're relying on 35-year-old Scott Alexander, a guy who hasn't pitched in 2 years, Ronnie Garcia, Tyler Kinley, and Antonio Senzatella. So there is a non-zero chance this ends up being the worst bullpen in baseball. However, we're going young, playing some of the kids. Just gotta hope they develop. Speaking of the kids, looking at the minor league system rankings that OATP puts together, the Rockies 24th. We have three top 100 prospects. First is first baseman Charlie Condon, who I have playing at first base. He rates as a above average outfielder, but I'm going to try to see if that first base development can get to like a 75 by the time he gets to the majors. That would be amazing. I have him in high A right now. He is going to play there for a little bit, and then I assume rocket up the minors. He's not going to make the majors this year, but he could be a guy that next year gets a really good shot early. Next is pitcher Brody Brecht. Great name, even better stuff. He could max out at 80s for his fastball and his curveball. His control is non existent. That's fine. We don't do that with the Rockies. And he's a guy that truly could be up this year. If we have injuries to our starters or if guys flame out, Brody could be in there in double A at the moment. And then finally, Chase Dollander, who is the closest pro ready pitcher that we have in the minors. He has no AAA experience. And the reason I don't have him in my rotation, as opposed to, say, Spencer Turnbull, is that Dollander, I want to take some time, play him in AAA. He will crush AAA. His ratings will go up, and then we can move him to the majors. That's my plan. Dollander, he'll get called up at one point this year. The question is just when. I have created a short list of all the prospects that I believe can have a top, chance, really good potential to be future Rockies players. As you can see, there are only 6 hitters on this list. 4 of them are right fielders at various stages in their time. So we have a lot of decent outfield depth. Guys like Yanko Fernandez will likely get called up to the majors this season. Good contact, good avoid Ks, decent defensively. Zach Veen obviously got called up in real life. In the game, he's a little bit further back. I am going to move him to left field just so it looks a little more diverse in the list. But he's also got great speed. I project him as, a more swing backup outfielder that you can play as a pinch hitter, pinch runner, and be really, really successful. Benny Montgomery is currently in Double A, which is where he's going to be for most of the season. My outfield is a log jam right now, especially in AAA. And Benny, though, could also be a solid center fielder. The reason I don't have him playing that is we have Brenton Doyle. So Montgomery right now are just working on getting him some at bats. He did pretty well in high A, but we need to see him hit soon. And then the last hitting outfield prospect, Robert Calaz, who, again, I could play him anywhere in the outfield. He projects to have above average everything. He's still very raw. He only has about 10 games in single A. 19 years old. He is years off appearing. And then the two infield prospects I have, Adil Amador, obviously, who is with the big team, and then Ryan Ritter at AAA. First of all, he has the salt of the earth personality, which is just my favorite tagline for these. But Ritter, great defensively, a shortstop, projects to be, let's be honest, an average hitter. But as a backup outfielder, or excuse me, backup infielder, that's kind of all you need. The issue I'm going to run into is both him and Amador kind of fill the same role. So Ritter might be traded. He's also 3 years older than Amador. So if there's a situation where I think I can upgrade our rotation or get a good reliever in there, Ritter might be a prospect that we throw in. All right, let's look at pitching. So this is a much longer list. Seth Halverson, obviously already in the big club. Chase Dollander knocking on the door. Jaden Hill is my future planet closer if no one up top shakes out. He's still pretty young. However, his stuff could develop into like a 70 fastball and sinker, a 65 cutter. He could be great. He could also be bad. So he's going to get time in AAA. Once he starts doing really well, we'll call him up sometime this season. I consider him and Dollander to be the two pitchers that are most ready. Gabriel Hughes, at the moment I have him starting in AAA. I may move him to relief. His stuff is just not great at the moment. He is also on a minimum salary contract. So he is a guy that we are paying for his services this year more than obviously a minor league deal. I'm cautiously optimistic about Hughes. And then that begins just a run of depth prospects. Baltazar Arendonado is a guy that I signed to a minor league contract. And how could you not? Look at this profile. He could have max movement, but minimum control. Horrendous stuff. I am so curious as to what he will look like after he gets some playing time. The game has him in double A to start, which could crash and burn. I'm actually going to move him down one to high A and keep him there just so he doesn't immediately get crushed by the double A bats. Brady Brecht we spoke of. Wyatt Olds. Now, this was another minor league signing I did. In reality, Wolves will likely turn into a reliever. Right now, he's a starter. He could have above max stuff. That is an 85, kids, on an 80-point scale. His control is horrendous and his fastball needs work. But he's a project. He has 70 potential. This could be a guy that, at the end of year's time could be pitching lights out in the minors. And then Ettore Giunanelli, as I butcher that pronunciation, is another minor league free agent pickup who is going to play at high A this year. Again, maxes up really good stuff. Bad potential. So we have a lot of these guys that we're just seeing how far we can push that envelope. Herrera, unfortunately, is out for 2 months, which isn't great. I think when he comes back, I'm actually going to move him to double A since I think he's more ready from that. He just projects to be your classic, average, above average reliever. No real complaints, but nothing to write home about, really. Antonio Knowles, another minor league signing. Really excited about him. Don't know why the AI has him in high A when he should be in triple A. I'm going to remove him from the closer role really quick. And he has great movement. Stuff is looking good. Control could be average. If you give me those combination of things, pretty excited about it. Antonio also could be called up to the bullpen by year's end. His overall is still only a 35. That might get shaky, but I'm excited to see him in AAA. And then, last but not least, Josep Chineros, who was a minor league signing. And again, going to have great stuff, great movement, max changeup. His control is horrendous. But he's got 60 potential. He could bounce around a bit, and we'll see where he ends up as well. So, those are my pitching prospects. I think they're much more exciting than my hitting ones just on a potential basis, especially some of these younger guys on the back end. Overall, I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's a beautiful, prospect list. Only two players have potential of 60 or above, and one of them is playing rookie ball right now. So it's a lot of guys that we're just banking could end up developing and helping out our team. Now, in terms of expectations for this season, it is very simple. Don't suck. I hope we don't. I fear that we will. And then in 3 years' time, build a top six minor league system. For reference, the Rockies start this game at 26. After making all those minor league signings, I'm up to 22. And then by the end of next season, increase fan interest from 39. And then make the playoffs in 5 years' time. I think all of those are respectable. No real complaints. We're likely going to suck this year. I mean, let's be frank. We have quite possibly the worst pitching room in baseball. We don't have a lot of offensive weapons that we know without a shadow of a doubt will help us win these close baseball games. Overall, I mean, listen, I'm bringing Jose Abreu to Colorado. That is fun in and of itself, but we're going to lose 100 games. We could even lose, 110. It's not going to be pretty. Last season, the Rockies went 61 and 101. I am hoping our team is better. I am just petrified about our starting rotation. It also doesn't help that we play in a division with the Dodgers, with the Diamondbacks, who were both, been in World Series the past couple years. The Padres are one of the, if not the best teams in baseball, and the Giants are consistently good. And if they're not, they fire everybody and they become good again. So that is where we stand. That was the sort of housekeeping team overview stuff. Nothing too crazy going on, I think, in our team. And now we can advance to opening day. We have made it. Huzzah. Also, if anyone is curious, MLB preseason projection projects us to go 70 and 92. If we end up with that record, I am a happy man. Our ERA is projected to be a 4.5. We're just gonna ignore that part, I think. All right, so we are opening against the Tampa Bay Rays this series. And since it is the opening series, I think I am going to play all three games. But for most series in this save, I'll play 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 4 and just keep the ball rolling. Stunningly, in terms of a lineup, I mean, we got them beat more often than not. Jose Abreu giving us the edge. Who could have possibly foreseen this? Not I. All right, we're going up against Drew Rasmussen, so we're going with our classic lineup. Doyle leading us off. Ryan McMahon, it's hitting second. Bouchard, 3. Chris Bryant, hitting cleanup. Michael Toglia, 5. Abreu, 6. Tovar, 7. Goodman, 8. And Kyle Farmer bringing up the rear at 9. Kyle Freeland, he is your opening day starter. Everyone say your respective good lucks, finger crosses, and let us begin and take on the Rays. Also, where's that audio mute button? There we go. That was going to be too loud. All right. Brenton Doyle, lead off home run to start the season. Please. Please. With that dynamic camera, you have to. We walked to start the year. You walked, Brenton Doyle. Unfortunately, I can't see Doyle's like speed and stealing ratings because of how this is set up in the corner. But it's fine. I'm just going to try to get him to steal second anyway. Because what else are you going to do? And Doyle steals second. Look at us. A runner on scoring position. And quietly, it's a 2-0 count. So I'm just going to tell Ryan to take the next pitch. And it's ball 3. Okay, you're just going to keep checking, buddy. All right, Ryan also walks. We got runners at first and second with no outs for Sean Bouchard, who immediately flies out to the second base. Oh boy, Chris Bryant for his first at bat of the season pops it up to first. And thus, Michael Toglia, you are my only hope. He strikes out. Well, good news, we had runners on first and second with no outs. Bad news is they didn't move after that. So Kyle Freeland kicks and deals for the first pitch of the season. And it's a line out to center. See, we're fine. Everything is fine. I wasn't worried that was going to be a bloop single at all. He strikes out Jonathan Aranda. We're here. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. And he strikes out Yandy Diaz. Clap him, everyone. Kyle Freeland doing work. Jose Abreu, Rockies debut. I see the issue. The players seem to take, they hit it too high. They're trying to hit home runs, and instead it's just going straight to the moon. Ezekiel Tovar, please. He strikes out also. All right. Hunter Goodman, please don't strike out. He didn't, to be fair. He grounded out to first, but he did not strike out. So we go down 1, 2, and 3. Let's see if we can keep the train going here. Kyle Freeland gives up his first run of the season. Brandon Lowe hits a homer, 359 feet. Not good. That's a solid recovery there as Morel flies out. Junior Caminero grounds out to third. Thank you. Jose Abreu, he didn't botch it. See, I'm fine with him at first. We're okay. Meisner strikes out. Well, through 2 innings, we're down 1-0. We also have yet to get a hit, but Kyle Farmer is going to change that. And, well, he doesn't change it because I assume they rule that an error. No, they call it an infield hit. Interesting. Kyle is not one to steal, so Brenton Doyle have fun. Well, he didn't have fun. He struck out. Ryan, please. Now Ryan strikes out also. Bouchard, 3 for 3. All right. Well, once again we get on base. But again, they don't move, and Kyle Freeland takes the mound once again, strikes out Danny Jansen. Thank you, sir. Solid ground out there against Taylor Wells. It's Taylor Wells. Okay. I can't remember players' first names a lot. Johnny DeLuca, that's going to get down for a little harmless bloop single. mean, it won't be harmless if Johnny Aranda hits a home run here, but besides that, harmless. Grounds out to Farmer at second. Cool. All right. So far through three, I mean, Kyle Freeland's thrown like one bad pitch. Other than that, he's doing great. Chris Bryant. Oi, that's a line out. I had such excitement, and then it crashed and burned. Michael Toglia now. Ooh, that's gonna get down in the right field. Run, sir. He's going for two. He's a brave man. And he gets there. What now? All right, now the last two times we've had runners on base, we've gotten straight outs. Jose Abreu, don't let me down. He has, in fact, let me down. He has stricken out. All right, Ezekiel Tavar, please. Back-to-back strikeouts for our next batters. Kyle Freeland's back up. And they get another bloop single. They love their bloop singles here. Brandon Lowe, he got a homer last time, but this time he flies out. No issue. No issue for Talia there. Oi, Christopher Morel caught near the warning track. Never didn't have it. Junior Caminero there, that gets down. All right. They have runners in scoring position for the first time this game. Can Meisner bring him home? Nope, he strikes out. Great from Freeland so far. Can our offense do anything? Goodman strikes out. Kyle Farmer, please. Please. What are the odds this becomes a throwing error? Not. Did not. All right, back up we go. Brenton Doyle. Will it be another walk? No. It will be another ground out. I have found the fatal flaw in this team. Turns out we have dynamite pitching, but we can't hit a baseball. Who knew? Kyle Freeland gives up the hit to left field. I assume he's going to go 2 for that. Yeah, he does. All right. This could get ugly. Come on, strike out Taylor Walls. Pop up, same thing. The runner doesn't advance. I am perfectly okay with that. Johnny DeLuca in. The ball gets down in left field. Bouchard keeps him at third. Okay. The double play is still online here. Freeland pitches. It's going to be a fly out to shallow infield. The runners don't move. All right. Yandy Diaz now. Strikes out. Kyle Freeland gets out of the jam. And was there any doubt of who our opening day starter should be? I think not. Was there a doubt about every single player in our lineup, though? Yes. As Ryan strikes out. Sean Bouchard also strikes out. And Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant, though, gets the bloop single to center field. We are in business. I am now, however, I think I want, what was it, 65? Yeah, I'm going to put Sam Hillard in to pinch run for Chris Bryant here, and we're going to try to steal second. All right, there we go. Hilliard gets the second. No throw off the steal. Now we got a runner in scoring position for Toglia. Grounds out to second. All right. Well, we lost Chris Bryant for the rest of the game at DH, but that is what it is. Kyle Freeland's still up. He's on 77 pitches now. I think I'm going to get probably Victor Vodnik warming in the bullpen, just in case this turns. There we go. Brendan Lowe grounds out to open. That was a long at bat, though. 6 pitches. There we go. Christopher Morel grounds out also. Can Freeland get out Junior Caminaro and end the day? Cal Farmer lost it. Is that going to be an error and a hit? That's going to be a hit. All right. I'll have him face Meisner, but I think if it gets to Danny Jensen, we flip, go to Vodnik. And he lines out to third base. Very well done from Kyle Freeland. Jose Abreu now at bat here. And he gets a bloop single into the outfield. Okay. Okay. We could have something here. I am similarly going to put Mickey Moniak in to pinch run for Jose. And Moniak goes, and he makes it. We're 3 for 3 on steals. We're cooking. We are cooking with gas. Come on, Tovar, give me something. And he gets the ball down to center field. Moniak stays at third. Who is our third base coaching? And I have them shot. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have Tovar steal second, if anything, because it eliminates the force out. And he gets there. We're 4 for 4 on steals today. We're doing great. Ah. All right, Goodman strikes out. Kyle Farmer now gets the ball past the first baseman into the outfield. Moniak scores, and Tovar is safe. The Rockies take the lead. Kyle Farmer's single, the big difference. Brenton Doyle strikes out. Come on, Ryan. Give me something. He struck out also. All right. Oy vey. All right, we need to do some movement in the infield right now. So Michael Taglia is going to go to first, and Mickey Moniak is going to slide in at right field. And then Victor Vodnik is going to take over for Kyle Freeland, except it just made his name disappear. There we go. All right, Victor Vodnik is in to face Danny Jensen. And Jansen flies out to center. That looked terrifying for a moment. Taylor Walls, though, that's going to get over Doyle's head and maybe even be a triple. Nope, stays at second. All right. Not great. Richie Palacios now. Palacios hits it deep and caught at the wall. Mickey Moniak gets it. Good man. Jonathan Aranda now at the plate. And he hits it deep, and that ball is gone as the Rays take the lead right back. Jonathan Aranda hits a home run. Oy vey. All right, Yandy Diaz now flies out to Mickey Moniak, and that'll do it. But the damage is done just when we take the lead. They get it right back. All right, I am now out of outfield subs. So this is the outfield the rest of the time. Sean Bouchard gets a little bloop single. What's your speed? Maybe not. Sam Hilliard now up to plate. That's going to fly out. All right, come on, Michael. No. Man, we strike out a ton. And he hits Mickey Moniak. That feels a bit rude. Throw him out, ref. You can tell I play too much football. I called him ref instead of ump. And Tovar flies out. That is that. All right, so Victor Vodnik, I mean, his pitch count is still not terrible, but I'm going to bring in Anthony Molina, get him warming up. And gone again. Man, Brandon Lowe with his second home run of the game as Victor Vodnik is just falling apart. Is it another? No. Caught at the warning track. Brenton Doyle brings it in. Oh boy. All right, I'm going to put Molina in. Vodnik's day is done to face Junior Caminero. All right, grounds out. Good job. Cam Meisner. Flies out also. Okay, here is our last chance. We got to get 2 runs on the board. Hunter Goodman, get us started. 3-0 count. I swear if you swing. He swung. He just checked his swing. Here's a question. There's no difference in, like, I mean, Goodman, to be fair, has a little bit of speed. Kyle Farmer's up to plate. He strikes out. Brenton Doyle. That gets into the outfield. You got runners at first and second now with 1 out. Come on, Ryan. Don't strike out for a third time. Oh, I'm sorry. That was his 4th strikeout of the game. Sean Bouchard's our last out. And that's that. We lose on opening day 4-2 to the Rays. A big shame that. I mean, we had 17 strikeouts. That is unbelievable. Insane. Kyle Freeland, I mean, he pitched really well. 6 innings, 7 hits, but only 1 earned run, 6 Ks. Pretty good. Vodnik, though, he got shelled there. Then Molina did pretty well to close it, but I mean, come on. Like Rasmussen struck out us 10 times in 6 innings. Bad day to lose it. I'm once again asking why the MLB gives everyone an off day after opening day. Just feel like you lose a lot of momentum. All right, game 2. I've got to save just to make sure, nothing crashes. I'm just making sure. All right, game 2 against Tampa Bay. They got Shane McClanahan in. We're going to go with the exact same lineup from yesterday. Ryan Feltner is in to pitch. Let's rock and roll. Brenton Doyle, I believe in you. Give me a leadoff home run. Please. If I ask nicely. He did not. Ground out to short. All right, Ryan, come on. Another strikeout. That is 5 straight. Sean Bouchard, though, he gets the walk. Chris Bryant strikes out anyway, so nothing doing. Bad first inning. Please, Ryan Feltner. I called you our best pitcher. You can't let me down here. Boy, he tried to slide. Toglia tried to slide, but he didn't get it. And I doubt they give him an error for that. No, they did not. All right. Well, could be worse. Jose Abreu, listen, he's fielding the ball cleanly. Reports of his demise greatly exaggerated. And that's going to be a fly out to center to bring home the runner. So we're down 1-0 early. Brendan Lowe, who killed us last game, continues to kill us here with the bloop single. Rude. And they run on Goodman. And they get to second base. And the damage continues. Good decision to steal as Brandon Lowe is able to make it home. And that's 2 runs to the Rays in this first inning. And Feltner again gives up the hit to center, and that run makes 3. And we are still in the first inning as Feltner now has walked Cam Meisner. This could get out of hand. Danny Jensen now hits it deep back at the wall and gone. 6-0 Rays. Feltner now has an ERA of 81. And another hit now. Taylor Walls getting to second. Well, it's a good thing I only used 2 relievers yesterday. Come on, Feltner, just get DeLuca. All right, Doyle brings it in. 6 runs on 6 hits, and we are heavily behind the 8 ball. Let's see if we get any runners in scoring position this inning. We did. Michael Toglia is on second. Tavar strikes out. Come on, Hunter. Give me something. Ooh, that'll get down and should score Toglia. And we are on the board with a run. Kyle Farmer now gets his own little bloop single. Okay. All right, we're starting to move a little bit. Bretton Doyle. Can he beat it out? No. And that's that. Listen, good news is we got a run. Bad news is they got 6. When you put it like that. All right, I'm going to keep Feltner in because realistically, there's no reason to pull him now. It's only been an inning. But if he starts struggling again, then he gone. Junior Caminero grounds out. Okay. Feltner's looking a bit better now. His ERA is down to 32. All right, 3rd straight ground out. Much better. Much better inning. Ryan, please hit the baseball. To be fair, he did. I can't be mad. So what if he hit it 100 feet in the air and it got caught by the pitcher? Bouchard goes down, as does Chris Bryant. We really just can't not strike out, huh? Christopher Morel grounds out to short. Jose Abreu he's getting his reps in at first there with all these groundouts. Oi! Andy Diaz lines out to left. Cam Meisner lines out to center. See, Feltner, listen. He got his, horrendous inning out of the way. Now he's kind of settled it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Shane McClanahan, by the way, already has 7 strikeouts in 3 1/3. I hear that's pretty good. Tovar does not beat out the throw. And that's that. All right. I am going to start warming up Antonio Senzatella for Feltner. Even though stamina-wise he's okay. I don't really want to turn a already bad situation disastrous. But he gets Danny Jensen. Can he get Taylor Walls? Assuming Tovar looks up. There we go. All right, that's 2. Oh, there's my error. And there it is. Yep, the throw is off target. So that's an error. They gave it to Tovar on the throw instead of Abreu on the catch. But nothing doing. Aranda flies out to center. And I think that will end Feltner's day. After a disastrous first inning, did much well the next 3. We get no runners on scoring position there. And Antonio Senzatella back after missing most of the last few seasons due to injury, taking the mound in relief, immediately gives up a hit. Oh boy, oh boy. And walks Brandon Lowe. Yep. Yep. I'm just gonna already get I'm gonna get Ronnie A. Garcia going again. And all right. Morel flies out to center. Nobody moves, which is good. Got the strikeout on Yandy Diaz. Okay. Okay, Antonio. He's settling in. Can it be another? And gets the ground out to end the inning. All right. All right. That looked terrible to start, but we got there. Here's a question. How good is Kyle Farmer at third base? He is solid. All right. I'm making a sub here just because Ryan is angering me. Amador is going to hit for him. And Amador strikes out. That's what I get. That's what I deserve. Bouchard flies out. And Chris Bryant grounds out. Listen, we cover all types of outs here in Colorado. So, all right, Kyle Farmer is going to move to third base, and Amador is going to play at second. Then I'm going to bring in Ronnie Garcia to take the sixth, opening against Danny Jansen. Boom. Ronnie Garcia has not faced a major league hitter since 2022. First guy he sees, K's him up. We've never been so back. And he hit Taylor Walls. Listen, there's issues. There's growing pains. DeLuca flies out to Doyle. Good job there. Oy, and the ball gets past Farmer at third. Would it have gotten past Ryan McMahon? That is the question. And Walls will get home. So it is now 7-1 in favor of the Rays. Junior Caminero grounds out, and that's that. But Garcia does allow a run. We get no runners on scoring position in the next hitting opportunity. So Ronnie is back out. And he K's Brandon Lowe. No small feat. That guy's killed us this series so far. Morel gets on base. I think, unfortunately for Ronnie, I think I'm going to have him pitch long just because we got a lot of games coming up with no breaks, and he gets the double play there. Good job, guys. Especially since, unless we tie it up, they're not going to get a bottom of the ninth. So, Kyle Farmer pops up. They still have Shane McClanahan pitching, and he's in the red. So, maybe we can do something here. All right, Doyle walks, and now they put in the reliever. I mean, we're going to have Doyle steal. There's no reason not to. Just with how we're doing at the plate today, might as well throw him. All right, yeah, he's not getting there. Hit it. Hey! Nice. Good job there, Amador. Sean Bouchard, come on, 3-run homer. Wild pitch. Not going to complain about that. That was a very weird animation with the umpire walking back there. Come on, Sean. That might be deep enough. Nope. All right. Runners on second and third. 2 outs. Chris Bryant. And it's back. Deep at the wall, gone. Chris Bryant hits the first home run of the season, and we have put 3 runs on the board. It is now 4-7. Michael Toglia, can he get there on the infield signal? Yes, he can. When we have another runner for Jose Abreu, who immediately struck out. Fair enough. All right, so Ronnie Garcia, I'm going to let him take the 8th. Do I regret this immediately? Maybe. Maybe I have someone warm. And he gives up a lead-off triple. The Rays closer is probably annoyed. He was looking at a save opportunity next inning. All right, I'm going to get Anthony Molina warming up. And Ronnie Garcia gives up another home run. It is now 9-4 Rays. Danny Jansen, 2 home runs in the same game. Quite impressive. Oy vey. Yeah. I mean, hindsight being 2020, I left Ronnie Garcia out too long, but that was also, an active decision just because of I didn't want to tax our bullpen a lot. And he strikes out Jonathan Aranda to end it again. So I'm going to keep Molina warming up just on the off chance we score 5 runs. We open with Tovar. And he gets on base. The bloop single goes over the top. Okay. Let's see if we can get him to second on a steal. He's going, and he gets there. All right, Tovar's on second. Goodman strikes out. Bad day for it. Kyle Farmer now. I feel like we're getting a lot of pop-ups today. Pops up to third, and that leaves Brenton Doyle, our only hope. Ball's hit to third. That'll do. All right. We lose the second game to the Rays 9-4. Good news is Chris Bryant hit a home run. Bad news, essentially everything else. Feltner gave up 6 runs in that first inning. Then he kind of locked in and did well. Senzatella did okay, and then Ronnie Garcia just got yelled. But that is what it is. We're going to have a lot of games like that, I think. So, all right, last game we're going to do this video. Game 3 against Tampa. Do I want to make any changes to my hitters? I think I'm gonna give Jacob Stallings a game over Goodman, and Toglia is gonna hit first. Or gonna play at first. Mickey Moniak's gonna come into right field. Tovar's gonna move up to 6 in the batting order. Everything else, all else equal, and Herman Marquez. Welcome to the show. But first, Brenton Doyle. How will he open today? With a 3-pitch strikeout. All right. Ryan McMahon hits it deep, but not deep enough. His bad series continues. Sean Bouchard now. He's going to get there because of a horrendously animated error there from Taylor Walls, who, for reference, has an error of 65. Chris Bryant. And that'll get in the outfield down for a base hit. Runners on first and second. Michael Toglia strikes out. All of the momentum gone. All right, Herman. Welcome back. His first start in the majors, really, since 2023, with last year him only making 1 appearance. Welcome back, my friend. Well, nowhere to go but up, as he gives up a solo home run to Jose Cabanero at the opener. That'll do. But hey, currently, his ERA is 0. Oh boy, his whip is also infinite, I believe. Jonathan Aranda grounds out to first. Good lad. Diaz gets on base. Oh boy. Come on. I don't want another 6-run first inning. But Jose Lowe. Okay, for a minute I thought I've been calling Brandon Lowe like the wrong player this whole time, but I wasn't. All right. There's Brandon Lowe. And Brandon Lowe continues the pain as he hits another home run. That is his third home run in as many games. Wow. Well, remember when I said I didn't want another 6-run first inning? Christopher flies out. And Danny Jansen strikes out. All right. Her man recovered there a little bit, got a couple quick outs, but yeesh. Not good. Hashtag analysis. It's not good if you give up multiple runs in the first inning. I think I can prove that. Mickey Moniak up to the plate now. All right. Nice little line drive there to left field. We're cooking. We're moving. We're shaking. Jacob Stallings for his first at bat of the season. Fly out to short. Okay. Farmer walks. I mean, if you want a good takeaway, we're getting their starting pitcher's pitch count up pretty high here. When that's like your takeaway, you know you're in trouble. Objection. On that animation, he looked safe. Just saying. All right, let's see if they get any runners in scoring position. They do not. Good clean inning. Ryan McMahon. Sir, I need you to get it together. Sean Bouchard, K's. Chris Bryant still hitting strong. Gets a nice line drive there to center field and gets himself a double. It is a shame. Just 2 players ahead of him had to go and strike out. But let's see if Toglia can bring him home. And fly out to center. No dice. No dice on that one. And it looks like Aranda got a solo home run. Other than that, clean inning. Other than that, how's the play, Mrs. Lincoln? So VAR flies out. Let's see if Moniak Stallings can do anything. Nope. Herman, another clean inning. How many pitches is he at? 66. All right. I'll maybe give him the bottom of the 5th, but should probably start warming somebody up. Lineup flips. Brenton Doyle gets on base due to the error. Is that the second error for Taylor Walls? Yes. He's had 2 errors this game, and his error rating is a 65. That's crazy. There we go. Ryan McMahon with the little bloop single. Finally, he didn't strike out. Sean Bouchard now. And he gets himself a line drive as the Rockies bats have come alive in the 5th. We got runners at first and second now. Chris Bryant, bring him home. He did not bring them home. He brought himself back to the dugout. Michael Toglia, though, hits it deep. Gone. That is a 3-run home run. We are back in it. Michael hits his first home run of the season. Now we're only down 5-4. As Ezekiel Tovar strikes out. What else is new? All right. I am going to start warming up probably Tyler Kinley. I'm going to pull Marquez at the first sign of trouble. Luca flies out. Good man. Jose strikes out. That's revenge there for the home run. And Jonathan Aranda pops it up. Stallings brings it in. Very nice, clean inning. Why is there so far my pitchers get blown up in the first inning and then play lights out for like 4 innings after that? Oh boy. Ooh, Mickey Moniak, that's a deep line drive. Definitely extra bases. And we have life now. All right. Let's bring him home. Jacob Stallings at the plate. He swings on a 3-1 pitch to advance the runner. A nice sacrifice. Respect it. All right, Kyle Farmer, get the ball in the outfield. And he does! Deep gone! Kyle Farmer with the home run. And all of a sudden, don't look now, your Rockies are in the lead 6-5 as Brenton Doyle keeps the party going with a line drive single. And Ryan McMahon strikes out. I am so tired. John Bouchard, though, he understands the assignment. We're just gonna bloop single them to death. That's our hitting scheme. All right, runners on first and third. Chris Bryant for his third hit of the night. And it's back. It's going. It's off the wall. This'll score runners. So they make their way around. That plate's 2. Thank you. 8-5 now. As we are getting some insurance runs all of a sudden. Michael Toglia gets it into the center field. Can Bryant score? Please? Please? He does. 9-5. Hello? Oh no, Chris Bryant is hurt. No! What do you mean his left knee? Okay, he has a knee contusion day to day for a week. Oh boy. Okay. I'm not going to play him that much then this next week. I don't want that to get bad. Preemptive strike, Jose Abreu. I'm going to put Jose at first at DH. That way, if I still have to make a defensive sub later, I can bring in Amador or Sam Hilliard. So I think that's just going to be a 1-1. All right, Tovar, what do you got, buddy? Foul. Fair enough. All right. Well, we scored 5 runs to give us a 9-5 lead as Tyler Kinley takes the ball. Okay. And that is not going to be deep enough. Diaz flies out. Josh Lowe strikes out. Can we get our arch nemesis this series, Brandon Lowe? He strikes him out, but the ball gets away from the catcher. Oh, he got it. Ooh. That was too close. All right, clean 6th. On to the 7th. Mickey Moniak. No dice. No dice there. And Stallings. A rare dark spot in this offense today. He's gone 0 for 4. Kyle Farmer, back-to-back homers. Oi, 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 that's retaliation. Blue. That's retaliation. Brenton Doyle strikes out, but still. Toss him. Toss him and the manager. All right, I'm going to keep Kinley in for the 7th. Maybe not. He walked Chris Morrow. Maybe I don't. All right, he got Danley Jensen. Yeah, he's at 22. I'm going to warm up Molina for the 8th, and then we might have a save situation later. The throw to second is in time. Whose idea was that, says the play-by-play, as Jacob Stallings throws him out. Get out of there. Which is good, because Walls then hit the ball into the outfield, so that could have been disastrous. All right, last batter Kinley faces will be DeLuca here. All right, ground out. Cool. Good inning. Nothing doing. Ryan McMahon, please don't strike out. It's actually a phenomenon. Oh boy. Sean Bouchard hits a deep cut at the warning track. Not like this. Jose Abreu into DH for the injured Chris Bryant. Also flies out. All right. Listen, you can't score 5 runs every inning. All right, Molina's coming in for the 8th. And I'm essentially going to treat this like a save situation, even if it isn't. But, as we have established this series, the Rays are very capable of just getting a solo shot. Ronda gets the hit. He's on base. Yandy Diaz strikes out. Good. We need to get Josh Lowe out right here. Blue single to center field. Well, Brandon Lowe. Oh, boy. Come on, Molina. Come on, Molina. Come on, Molina. That's a pop-up. Caught. All right, we get out of the 8th. Good job, Molina. I'm going to bring in my closer, Seth Halverson, because I'm treating it like a save situation. This is our first win of the season. I don't want to play around. Taglia K's. Hey, Ezekiel Tavar gets on base. Listen, I wouldn't hate some extra insurance runs here. Tovar goes for a second, and he is safe. That's his 3rd bag of the season. Mickey Moniak flies out. That's a shame. And Jacob Stallings walks. All right, he didn't go 0 for 5. That's something. Kyle Farmer. Oh, no, another error. Not like this. They've had 3. Oh, no. Okay. Bases loaded for Mr. Doyle. Swing away, buddy. He didn't swing, and instead he struck out. C'est levé. All right, Seth Halverson is coming in. He is our closer, and I'm treating this like a save situation with Christopher Morrow, Danny Jansen, and Taylor Walls all up to bat. And there goes one. Bouchard makes the catch. Danny Jansen now pops it up. Toglia grabs it. Good man. Final out of the game, Taylor Walls. Down he goes on a strikeout. The Rockies have the first win of the season. We bat around in the inning. We came back from a 4-run deficit. Really good game there from the men. We win it 9-5. 3 hits from Chris Bryant, who also got injured. We're just gonna ignore that. Michael Toglia hits a homer. Mickey Moniak gets a couple hits off the bench. Good for him. And hey, our bullpen pitched 4 innings, only allowed 3 hits, a walk, and 6 Ks. That's a pretty good day from a bullpen that I am on record saying could be the worst in baseball. But that's fine. All right, let's advance the day. Let me just confirm that Chris Bryant's injury is what they said. Yeah, so he's out for 5. Well, he's not out, but he has a day-to-day knee contusion for 5 games, and it impacts his running. So we have a break after the first Phillies game, and then it's straight. So I think I'm not going to play him in the first opening game against the Phillies, but I will probably play him in one of the other ones, and then he'll get one of the games against the Athletics, and that will be that. All right. I'm going to save here, and that will do it for this first video. I think all in all, 1-2. If we're taking series as 1-2, it's not going to have the great record in the world, but so be it. I think our starters look a little shaky. There's no way around it. I mean, Kyle Freeland pitched a gem, but both Feltner and Marquez gave up numerous runs in the first innings. Our bullpen has looked okay. I think Ronnie Garcia was left in too long, but other than that, that is what it is. Our lineup, I'm going to be honest, I mean, not good. Brenton Doyle's been poor. Ryan McMahon's already stricken out 8 times so far in 3 games. It's looking a little shaky, but we did get a few home runs. Really good run production, I think, especially in the later 2 games. So there's signs of life in what may be a miserable season to begin. But I thank you all for watching this episode 1 of this Out of the Park baseball series. I like to continue as much I can, and hopefully we can get through this first slog of the season sooner rather than later. But I will see you all next time.